You said that when you get into the workplace, white people are more comfortable with Africans who are sexually paired with a white person. Is that accurate? You did say that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's been my... I mean, there are still white people in the UK obviously who are very hostile to these kind of relations. But generally, my experience has been that when you look at how white people respond to Africans, particularly actually when people are climbing the ladder, people are seen as, you know, moving up, they seem to be more comfortable with black people who've got a white partner. And simply because I think they see those people as being more psychologically and culturally like them, more amenable to the things that they want. So, I mean, I've seen organizations where every single one of the black senior managers in the organization has a white partner. And for example, there was quite recently, there was a few years, I think it was actually a few years ago, there was interviews with about five people, all editors of either black magazines or black newspapers, and all of them had white partners.
Wow.
So one was called Pride. Ironically enough. So yeah, that's what I've generally found, that white people are more comfortable with black people who have white partners because they see those people as being largely culturally assimilated.
Wow. That is astonishing. Herman Uzi, would he qualify as well?
I'm not sure who he's doing his thing with at the moment. But there's a successor to him called Trevor Phillips,
yes,
who is who's the head of the what do they call it? It used to be the Commission for Racial Equality.
Right.
It's now become the Human Rights Commission, and of course, I mean he's a classic Uncle Tom, and I think he had an Asian partner before. Now he's got a white partner, and he's a classic assimilationist, dreaming of a coffee-colored future.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
But I mean, almost every single African of any kind of prominence, I'd say 90% of them have white partners in the UK. TV presenters. I mean, in terms of, for example, footballers, I can't think of a single black footballer in the UK who's actually born in the UK who has a black partner in the top league. And I can't even think of any in the lower leagues, actually. The only ones I can think of who play in the top league who have a black partner weren't born in the UK, like Didier Drogba from Ivory Coast, that come from Africa or other places. None of them who are born in the UK that I can think of have a black partner. Not one.
Wow. Why? It's not just Tiger Woods here. See that? See that? Like, wow. Context of white supremacy. Our guest, again, Paul Ifayomi Grant. This chapter, and I think this will tell a lot about the why this behavior occurs. This chapter, the title again, or section, The Politics, Psychology, and Sociology of Miscegenation. It is a subset of a portion of the book titled Mind Matters. Why would sexual intercourse between Africans and white people be in a section titled Mind Matters?
Because the sex act is controlled by the mind. Sexual desire comes from the mind. It doesn't come from the sexual organs. It's the mind that actually is trained and developed and actually creates sexual desire. And and we're socialized this through from a very early stage in our childhood. We're socialized into what's seen as acceptable or unacceptable forms of sexual activity. So, for example, the rise of homosexuality being considered to be normal. That's about socialization and culture, people being trained to think in a particular way. So the whole idea of sex and sexual desire comes from the mind, first of all. It doesn't come from the body. And obviously, sexual relationships are about the most fundamental thing that people do, because it's how we produce life and reproduce our species. So there's nothing more fundamental than sexual relationships.
Wow. I want to see if Justice has some more questions, but I just want to read this to kind of put a nice cherry on this. I feel this is critically important. I think Chancellor Williams talks about how white people have used sexual intercourse to conquer Africans for years. I feel it is critically important that Africans, all non-white people, do not engage in sexual intercourse with white people. It has just incredibly destructive impact on the African mind, the non-white mind, and our ability to replace white supremacy with justice immediately. In the same chapter, Mr. Paul Ifayomi Grant writes that white U.S. policymakers have cottoned onto the fact that already endangered African families' capability to produce African social warriors against white supremacy can be further weakened by the increase in family units where one parent has no cultural or biological reason to fight white supremacy. He goes on to say, in chess, just as in life, the white pieces are the offensive pieces, and the black pieces must work together to coordinate a defense and finally a telling counterattack. If the African king does not work in concert with the African queen because he is too busy wondering what is under the white queen's skirt, the black side will be defeated.
Yeah, I spit that culture over everything. They talking about money over everything. Pale man took about everything. George James stolen fucking legacy. They told John Henry Clark he didn't have no legacy. Dr. Ben said that the black woman heaven, so I'm looking to the stars to see the black woman's presence. Something like Elijah bringing the message to the black man. Don't forget the black woman. Without the black room, we wouldn't be in existence. Before integration, we was up in the kitchen. After integration, we still in the kitchen, cooking up them government plans created by the government hands, controlled by the